Hello, my name is Michelle Douglas and I'm certified in clinical hypnotherapy and specializing in soul regression therapy. For those who don't know, soul regression therapy is basically a past life regression or a between lives regression. In a past life regression, we delve into your past lives, and in a between lives regression, we spend a little more time in the period between your death in a past life and your incarnation into the next life. The techniques used to guide you into a trance state have been proven the world over, and these techniques are based on the best parts of what the greatest teachers of this therapy have used with great success over several decades. In this video today, I will explain how a past life or a between lives regression will work, and I'll provide you with some additional information to prepare you for your session if you have booked, or to simply provide you with more information if you are considering a past life regression. So you may have already booked a regression, as I mentioned before, and I have sent you a link for you to watch this video. So welcome, and I'm very excited to be working with you. Very exciting. Or you could simply be curious about what this is all about, and that's perfectly fine. This therapy is not necessarily for everyone, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But if I have missed anything in today's video and you have any additional questions, please email me at michelle@empoweredlifeprograms.com. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we start off with the pre-session chat, and this is regardless of whether you're an online client or whether you come and have your session with me in person. So we go through any challenges you're experiencing in your present life. I will also clarify the questions that you have added on your form, because I do request when you book to provide me with a bunch of questions you'd like me to get the answers to during your regression. I will explain to you what happens during the trance state and any other items from your form that I require clarification on. We'll talk about those as well. This part of the session is really just to get to know you bit of the session, and it helps me to understand what you would like to get out of your regression, what sort of information, I guess, more than anything. So the first thing I do once we've finished our pre-session chat is we get you comfortable, and I guide you through the process into a deep, relaxed state called the theta hypnosis state. Now, when you're in this state, you're not asleep. You will be aware during the session. You can still analyze. You can still, you can analyze what you're seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling in your mind. And although I recommend that you just let the images flow, it's really important that you don't question them. That's probably the best way to put it. Just let them flow. Tell me what you see. Your subconscious mind will select a specific past life to show you that is most appropriate. And this life, in most cases, is relevant to the current life you are living now. Now, just to clarify, we do start when you're having our past life regression. So that's level 1 type session. We do work backwards through the present life before we jump into the past life. Whereas with a between lives regression, we don't really touch on the present life. We go straight into the past life. And the reason for that is because the past life regression is like your training ground, I guess. And don't get me wrong, you get a lot of information from the past life regressions, but a lot of people like the between lives regression because it can be so weird, but in an awesome way. But yeah, it's a different type of experience. So you really need to go through the past life regression first, just to make sure your hypnosis muscle is nice and strong before you go through a between lives regression. So we go back through specific times in that past life once we get in there, and we'll start off on scene number 1, and then I'll fast forward you a few times until we get to the death scene. You may also be taken to other past lives too, and again, it's usually the client that guides what we do, when, and how. So while we look at each past life, we collect information. So I'll be asking a whole bunch of questions, such as why you were there, specific aspects of that life that are relevant, any lessons that should have been learned in that lifetime, and what's going on in your surroundings, and who's there with you, and that sort of thing. And we may receive further answers to your questions at this point as well. Any current life lessons you have chosen to learn in this lifetime might also come up at this point. And then we go to the death scene. And this is where, after death, is where I get most of my questions answered, because in most cases, we're talking to your higher self or your spirit guides. And then we get an understanding of the lessons from that life and how they may be relevant now. There may be some healing that's conducted in this part. And just yesterday, I had a client go through a healing process during their session. We have an interaction with guides, soulmates, your higher self, and other beings, and an understanding of the decisions you made during that lifetime as well, which may be relevant to what's going on for you now. So how long does it take? So a regression can take anything between 2 to 3 hours. Past life regression is often about 2-ish, and a between lives can be 2 to 3. It just depends on the person. And this includes a pre-session chat and at the beginning and the post-session debrief at the end. But this is ultimately determined by you, because what happens is I take you through different scenes, I guess, and you kind of drive it. It's all very, your higher self or whatever, your subconscious, I don't know what it is, but sort of drives me to where we need to go. So important things to remember: when you are in the trance state and you start seeing or knowing or sensing whatever it is, allow it to flow through and verbalize everything you see, feel, know, or think. Verbalize all of it. You're not making it up. And I often have a client who is in the trance state saying, I think I'm in my head, or I'm definitely making this up. But just go with it. Go with it. Go with it. Every session is unique. So I've taken a number of clients through this process several times over, and every single time it's completely different. We go to different past lives. We get different information from their higher self and spirit guides. We even see different spirit guides. So don't let doubt creep in. It's just a process where we just go with the flow and just blurt it all out as it comes out. Okay. What I found from my own experience being regressed is that the more I speak about what I'm seeing, the clearer the images get, and it just flows much better. Now, another thing to remember, of course, is that your current life is the most important life of all. Now, delving into a past life will give you some, I guess, understanding of what's going on for you now, potentially. And it's really just about making this current life the best it can possibly be, and empowering you to make better choices in this current lifetime so that you can live a much better life, which is ultimately what we all want, right? And remember, we choose some of our lessons before incarnation, and there's 2 great books there I've got on the slide there. So Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz is an amazing book that talks about challenges a bunch of people chose to come in and experience for their own soul growth. And it's just like, why would you choose to do that to yourself? But when you read the book, you get a much better understanding of why bad things happen to good people, I guess. And Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton is a really good one as well, because that particular book is the one that actually got me interested in this work. I read the book and I had to go and get a session done myself, because it was just like, whoa. And I had the session done and I wanted to learn how to do it. So here I am. So that book led me to where I am now, actually facilitating these regressions. And it's just an amazing, amazing experience to even just be an observer as opposed to actually going through it myself. Now, understanding past lives can help in our current life, as I mentioned as well previously. And it really does, because like I had a client who was really jumpy in the car if there was another car coming the other way at a certain angle. And it turned out that in a past life, she had been hit by a car that came at her from that same angle. So it made a whole lot of sense as to why she was so over the type afraid of being hit when the cars came at her from that angle. So yeah, really interesting. It will also diffuse energy and emotional blockages. And for her, it actually helped her to understand this fear that she had of being hit by the car. There'll be some spiritual growth and healing as you see things from a high or completely different perspective. And causes of fear and anxiety can be discovered and released, as I mentioned with the example before. So And I'm only touching or scratching the surface here, but there's a whole lot more that this type of work can actually, or how much more it can benefit you. It's amazing. After the session, we do a post-session debrief, and that's just really just to talk through what you experienced as a client, as opposed to me as the facilitator, the hypnotherapist, just to get an understanding of whether, you understood everything that was going on for you as we went through this process. And it's really good to sort of have that little debrief and just verbalize what's happened for you while it's still fresh in your mind as well. But, obviously I record the session, so you will receive the recording within a couple of business days of your session as well, so that you can go back and listen to it, because even an hour later, you'll find that you've forgotten parts of it. So yeah, that's a really good benefit to have that. So can everyone be hypnotized? No, not everyone. And just as not all therapies can help all people, I'm trained in a whole bunch of different modalities. And the reason for that is because I can still delve into your past lives during my Akashic Records work, because I'm a soul realignment practitioner as well. And that would benefit anyone who can't be hypnotized. And it will also benefit anyone who would like a lot more detail about their individual wiring, I guess, as a soul. Whereas my healing work is another modality again. And then we've obviously got the hypnotherapy work that I do on top of all of that. Now, the levels of hypnosis can also vary as well. So some people can go quite deep. Others, they sort of keep waking up a bit. I've had a couple that sort of come out of it, and then I have to sort of push them back under. It's like putting your hand on someone's head, pushing them under the water. No, it's not like that at all, I promise. No, it's really just people will actually fluctuate. Some will fluctuate, some go straight down, some sort of stay in the middle. I work with what I can, like the way I run you through this process. If I can sense that you're coming out a bit, I might use a deepener just to put you a little bit deeper, so to speak. So, yeah, it's individual. Everyone is different. Some people are really easy to hypnotize. Some are really hard. I've had one in particular that was extremely difficult to hypnotize, but we finally got her there and she had an amazing experience. So you just never know. Now, as I said, it's not for everyone, and only 95% of people can go into trance, which is quite a high number. So if you're in the small 5%, and, sometimes there could be some issues going on for you that may prevent you going into trance. But as I said, most will be able to go under, no problem. Next steps. So you may already have your session booked, and if so, I am very excited to go through this process with you, which is pretty cool. I have a soul regression therapy page on the website. So that's at empoweredlifeprograms.com/regression. My sessions are via Zoom or face-to-face, and I live just south of Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. But you can email me at michelle@empoweredlifeprograms.com if you would like to know exactly where I am. And have a look at the regression page, see if it appeals. And if you would like to book a session, there's a booking link on that page as well, where you can book and pay. I will email you within a couple of days of your booking as well with some instructions and a link to this video. So if you've already watched it, great. And there's also an audio that I send you as well to listen to prior, just to get you into that state, or to train your brain, I guess, to get into the right state. So I shall leave you with that, and I look forward to working with you, and let's chat soon.